Holy hell. Congress said we can't use human prisoners. These assholes aren't human.
How you doing,
Okay,
Steve?
great.
It's good to finally chat with you.
Yeah, man, how's it going?
It's going well. I love Economos. I've loved them since the end of Suicide Squad when you all stood up to Amanda, and and Peacemaker was, of course, you all crushed it. So I'm excited to see you back for this franchise. And I've watched the whole season. And something that I noticed with John Proud, both in Suicide Squad and Peacemaker and now Creature Commandos, is that he seems, not a lot of phases him. And I'm kind of guessing that he's had a long history at this point with, aliens, monsters,
metahumans, yeah.
All that. Do you personally know how far that history goes, or how is that something you find out project by project, script by script, or what does those conversations look like with you and James?
I find out little by little. I mean, before James wrote this character into Suicide Squad and then Peacemaker, all that existed of John Economos was he was the warden of Belle Reve prison. He wasn't a tech guy, he was the warden, and really all we knew about him from his few appearances was that he had a lot of ex-wives. So I think that says a lot about the guy. Maybe a little hard to live with, but there's not a ton in the comic books to draw on. So it's really James is kind of building the character, from scratch.
When you found out that you were going to continue and that the first thing you would get to do was, exploring John for animation, how exciting was that for you as an actor? And kind of how's it going to work? How, what are these kind of characters going to be like?
Yeah, I was super excited. I love animation. I've done a bunch of voiceover stuff for animated show, but just here and there. And I was really excited that he was taking on animation. I never saw that one coming. And, James and I have been friends for a long time, and he kind of writes Economos in my voice as well. So there's not a lot of surprises. I mean, there's a lot of surprises story-wise, but as a character, I think I pretty much have him figured out as, this snarky kind of cowardly guy who wishes that he could, physically fight, and shoot, but he's kind of too scared to. That's a lot like me in real life. And it's been carrying on through, the movie and now the series and now the animated show.
It seems like also, because again, I went back and rewatched some of the other stuff that you've been in with the DC, just kind of just compare wise. It seems like John has more sympathy and understanding for the Creature Commandos as opposed to, anyone in Task Force X. What do you think he sees in them that, that makes them relatable?
Well, it's funny because, when you hear the premise of the show, these are basically monsters. I mean, obviously Frankenstein and the Bride, these are clearly straight up monsters. And, nobody in the Creature Commandos, obviously because it's creatures, they're not human. So you would expect this to be an obvious, these are horrible creatures that don't really matter if they, live or die. And that's why she's sending them on these missions. But as you watch the series, you find out that they're incredibly complicated characters with deep backstories, and there's not a hard line between good and bad with with any of these creatures. There's a very wide, blurry line of good and bad, and that's part of the appeal of this show is the depth of all these characters, and that's always been James' strong suit, with movies and TV is the characters.
Yeah, because I was talking to Dean Laurie last week, and I was asking about, and I would love to hear your perspective too. Is that, do you feel like as we go into the DC universe that this is kind of the franchise's new way of responding to, the new response to Suicide Squad in terms of having the Creature Commandos, where it's not typical criminals, it's more misunderstood people. Is that how you feel that too?
Absolutely. I mean, that was what James was doing with the Suicide Squad as well. There were, these people are complicated people. You know, some of them are considered bad, horrible people, and you know, talking about the Suicide Squad, but you know, it came through, you know, events that were kind of beyond their control, and not all of them are really as evil as you would think. And yeah, it's proving the same with the Creature Commandos.
I know I may have to ask this very carefully, but does anything from what John has gone through in season 1 of Creature Commandos carry over into the next couple of things that we're going to see you in?
I don't know what's going on beyond Creature Commandos in season 2 of Peacemaker. I'm in Savannah, Georgia right now shooting season 2. We're almost done. I should be done on Monday. And you know, that's the end of the season. So beyond that, I don't know what's in store for Economos. You know, there's a lot I wish I could tell you, but you'll have to tune into the shows. Yeah,
no, I know that James did confirm on whatever social media app that it's being used right now, and that you will be back for Waller. So you know, I don't know, do you have any update on when you might start doing that?
I think they're still doing scripts, so there's no set time yet, and James won't start something until he's absolutely happy with the scripts and they're ready to go. So once they're ready, you know, I'm sure he'll announce a start time. As an actor who loves to work, it can't happen soon enough, though, for me.
Well, that's exciting that you guys are almost done with season 2. How's the atmosphere been this year? You know, again, you know, you're raising the stakes. You know, I saw that first teaser. It looks like you guys are getting crazier than ever. So what can you talk about that?
Again, not a lot I can tell. It's definitely a more epic storyline. More characters are involved this time, and yeah, it's a massive story in a massive world, and I think, you know, anyone who likes season 1 is going to love season 2.
And finally, before I let you go, what was your reaction when you got to see yourself in animation for the first time? You know, I know you said you've done voiceover before, but is this the first time that like you are being complete design animation?
Yes, it was. James first showed me just a character's design before I saw any actual movement and stuff, and I was so excited because I'd never seen Steve, my physical body, animated, and he was a lot more impressive than the guy I see in the mirror every morning. So I loved him. I'm super excited. I'm really happy to have myself be animated.
Well, I'm so excited for you, and I cannot wait to see where you take him next. So hopefully, you know,
Thanks.
Maybe in season 2 of Creature Commandos. Hopefully, fingers crossed. You know, the show is amazing. It's so much fun. I've already started doing my re-binging with the screeners. So you know, I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting now for the rest of the world to see it, so I can talk about it with the rest of them too. So, but Steve, thank you so much for your time, and best of luck with finishing season 2 and beyond.
Awesome. Thanks, Andy. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Said you wanted me to be a hero.
Not like that.